The woman walked into Judge Judy's courtroom, acting like she already owned the room. She barked over people, corrected everyone who spoke, and treated a simple neighborhood dispute like a military operation gone wrong. But the moment she tried to overrule Judge Judy herself, the entire courtroom froze. Because what started as a petty argument between neighbors quickly turned into a disturbing story about intimidation, hidden recordings, emotional manipulation, and a man who quietly suffered for months while nobody believed him. And when Judge Judy finally uncovered the truth, her single response completely destroyed Army Karen's control over the room. The courtroom stayed unusually tense from the second the case began. Even before Judge Judy said a single word, people in the audience could already feel the strange energy coming from the defendant's table. The woman sitting there looked less like someone involved in a small claims dispute and more like someone preparing to command a briefing room. Her posture was rigid, her expression cold, and every tiny movement felt controlled. She wore a dark-fitted blazer decorated with military pins, despite the fact this wasn't a military proceeding at all. That detail mattered more than it first appeared. Some people wear symbols because they're proud of their past. Others wear them because they need people to obey them before they even speak. Her name was Rebecca Sloan, a retired Army operations officer who had spent nearly 20 years managing logistics teams overseas. Across from her stood Adam Mercer, a quiet, divorced father of one who looked emotionally drained before the hearing even started. He kept rubbing the side of his thumb against his wedding ring mark without realizing it, almost like his body still remembered something his life no longer had. Judge Judy noticed it immediately. People carrying emotional stress often reveal it physically long before they speak. Adam wasn't standing there angry, he was standing there exhausted. Judge Judy glanced down at the file. Adam was suing Rebecca for harassment, property damage, intimidation, and emotional distress after a months-long conflict inside their suburban Arizona neighborhood escalated completely out of control. Judge Judy looked at Adam first. "Tell me why you're here." Adam swallowed hard before answering. "I moved into the neighborhood last year after my divorce." His voice sounded shaky already. "I just wanted peace." Rebecca immediately let out a soft laugh under her breath, not loud enough to interrupt, just loud enough to humiliate him slightly. Judge Judy's eyes lifted instantly. "You got something funny happening over there?" Rebecca straightened. "No, Your Honor," but the expression on her face said otherwise. She already believed Adam was weak. That mattered psychologically. Controlling personalities often mistake quietness for weakness because they measure people by dominance instead of character. Adam continued speaking carefully. "The problem started after I parked my truck in front of my own house." Rebecca interrupted immediately. Improperly. Judge Judy looked directly at her. "Did I ask you?" Rebecca leaned back stiffly, clearly irritated. Adam explained that within days of moving into the neighborhood, Rebecca began leaving printed notices under his windshield wipers, telling him his parking angle violated community order expectations. There was no homeowners association, no neighborhood board, no official authority, just Rebecca. Adam pulled several papers from his folder. Judge Judy looked through them slowly. Every page had military-style formatting, with bold headers like Neighborhood Conduct Violation and Corrective Action Reminder. A few audience members shifted uncomfortably while reading them over the bailiff's shoulder. Judge Judy raised one eyebrow. "You made these?" Rebecca nodded proudly. "Yes." "Why?" Rebecca crossed her arms confidently. "Because somebody has to maintain standards." There it was. The psychological core of the entire case. Rebecca didn't believe she was harassing people. She believed she was managing them. Judge Judy looked unimpressed. "You're not running a military base." Rebecca answered calmly, "No, But disorder spreads quickly when nobody takes leadership. Adam quietly shook his head. She treated the whole street like soldiers. Rebecca instantly fired back because discipline matters. Notice how controlling personalities constantly frame obedience as morality. To them, disagreement feels like disrespect. Adam explained that after ignoring Rebecca's notices, things escalated fast. First, she started confronting him whenever he came home from work. Then she began photographing his guests from her porch. Then came the loud banging on his front door whenever she believed he violated one of her made-up rules. Judge Judy looked at Rebecca. "You banged on his door?" Rebecca didn't hesitate. "I addressed ongoing issues directly." Again, same manipulation tactic. Harassment becomes addressing issues. Threats become communication. Control becomes leadership. Adam continued quietly. "One night she came over because my daughter left her bicycle on the lawn." Rebecca immediately interrupted again, because it was visible from the street. Adam looked stunned. "She's 9 years old," Rebecca shrugged slightly. "Children still learn standards." The courtroom reacted softly. Judge Judy stared directly at Rebecca now. "You went to a divorced father's house at night to complain about a child's bicycle?" Rebecca answered without shame, "Because accountability starts young." Silence filled the room for a second. Judge Judy leaned back slowly. "You hear yourself?" Rebecca's confidence never moved. "Yes, Mom." Adam then revealed something that shifted the emotional atmosphere instantly. He explained that after months of constant confrontations, his daughter Lily became afraid whenever she saw Rebecca outside. The courtroom became quieter immediately after hearing a child was involved. Adam's voice lowered slightly. She stopped playing outside. Judge Judy looked up. "Why?" Adam hesitated. "Because Rebecca yelled at her twice for chalk drawings near the sidewalk." Rebecca rolled her eyes. "I asked her to respect shared space." Judge Judy's face hardened slightly. "She's a child," Rebecca answered coldly. "Children still need correction." That line landed badly in the room, very badly, because now the audience could see the deeper problem. Rebecca wasn't trying to maintain order, she needed authority emotionally. Adam reached deeper into his folder. "That's when I installed cameras." Rebecca's posture changed slightly for the first time. Tiny movement, tiny crack. Judge Judy noticed immediately. Adam handed over several printed screenshots from his security system. The first showed Rebecca standing beside his truck late at night, holding a flashlight. The second showed her removing one of Lily's chalk drawings from the sidewalk with a hose. The third changed the room completely. Rebecca was standing inches from Adam's front door, holding what looked like a clipboard while repeatedly knocking hard enough to shake the camera view. Timestamp, 11:43 p.m. Judge Judy stared at the image. "Why are you on his porch near midnight?" "Because his dog was barking." Adam immediately shook his head. "My dog died 3 weeks before that video." Silence. Complete silence. Rebecca blinked hard. That was the first moment her confidence visibly cracked, because she hadn't expected him to remember details like that. Judge Judy leaned forward slightly. "Then why were you there?" Rebecca inhaled slowly. "I may have mistaken the property." Another manipulation tactic. Retreat once exposed. Change certainty into confusion. Adam then handed over the actual video footage. The courtroom screen lit up. Rebecca appeared clearly on camera, aggressively knocking while muttering under her breath. Then came the sentence that changed everything. "You don't ignore me." The courtroom froze. Rebecca looked horrified, hearing her own voice echo through the room. Judge Judy replayed the clip slowly. "You don't ignore me." Rebecca immediately spoke up. "That sounds worse out of context." Again, context defense. Manipulators rarely deny evidence directly once it exists. They attack interpretation instead. Judge Judy stared at her. "What context improves that sentence?" Rebecca's jaw tightened. Adam's hands were shaking slightly now. Judge Judy noticed that too. Quiet men often carry fear differently. They don't explode emotionally. They slowly collapse inward over time. Adam explained that after the late-night confrontations continued, he stopped inviting friends over because Rebecca constantly photographed visitors and confronted anyone parking near her house. She called my sister an unauthorized guest. Rebecca corrected him immediately because she parked incorrectly. The audience actually laughed softly before Judge Judy silenced them with a glance. Rebecca's face flushed slightly now. Losing control of the room emotionally was starting to bother her more than the evidence itself. Then came the witness. A middle-aged woman named Claire Bennett quietly stepped forward from the back row. Unlike Rebecca, Claire looked nervous being there. She kept twisting her bracelet while speaking, like someone uncomfortable with conflict, but tired of staying silent. Judge Judy asked what she witnessed. Claire took a breath. Rebecca patrols the neighborhood every night. Rebecca interrupted sharply. I observe. Judge Judy snapped instantly. Enough, Claire continued carefully. She keeps notes on everybody. Adam looked down while Claire explained that Rebecca had confronted multiple neighbors over lawn decorations, parked cars, garbage bins, and noise complaints. Most people stopped arguing because it wasn't worth the stress anymore. That sentence mattered deeply. Fear-based control works best when victims become emotionally exhausted. Rebecca crossed her arms tighter. People resent structure because they lack discipline. Judge Judy stared directly at her, or maybe they resent being treated like children. Rebecca immediately replied, with respect, Your Honor, civilian communities become chaotic without leadership. And there it was, the moment everything changed. The word civilian hung in the courtroom like smoke. Claire looked uncomfortable. Adam looked embarrassed. Judge Judy slowly removed her glasses. Civilian? Rebecca nodded confidently. Yes. Judge Judy leaned forward. This is not a command center, Mrs. Sloan. Rebecca answered calmly. No, ma'am. But human behavior requires boundaries. Judge Judy replied instantly. Boundaries are not the same thing as control. Rebecca's expression tightened visibly now. Her breathing changed slightly too. Faster, less controlled. The room was slipping away emotionally, and she could feel it. Adam then revealed the incident that finally pushed him into filing the lawsuit. 3 weeks earlier, Rebecca allegedly blocked his driveway entirely with her SUV after he refused to remove a small basketball hoop Lily received for her birthday. Adam said he missed work because he physically couldn't leave the driveway. Rebecca defended herself immediately. I needed him to address the violation. Silence swallowed the room after those words. Judge Judy looked stunned for half a second. Vile, Rebecca nodded. Portable sports equipment lowers neighborhood presentation standards. Adam looked emotionally exhausted now. She made my daughter cry on her birthday. The courtroom shifted emotionally again. Rebecca looked irritated instead of remorseful. That detail mattered psychologically too. Controlling personalities often view emotional reactions as inconveniences instead of consequences. Adam then played another security clip. This time, Rebecca stood beside the basketball hoop while speaking directly toward the camera. People like you only learn through pressure. Complete silence. Judge Judy replayed the clip twice. Rebecca's face lost color slightly. I was frustrated. Judge Judy stared at her. You think intimidating a child's father is leadership? Rebecca shook her head quickly. No, Mom. I think standards matter. Then came the moment nobody expected. Judge Judy asked one simple question. Mrs. Sloan, why does this matter to you so much? Rebecca froze completely. Real freeze. Because suddenly the conversation wasn't about rules anymore. It was about motive. Rebecca hesitated before answering quietly, because neighborhoods fall apart when nobody takes responsibility. Judge Judy watched her carefully. That's not really what this is about, is it? Silence, long silence. Rebecca's confidence cracked further now. I spent 19 years keeping people organized. There it was. The emotional truth underneath the control. Rebecca wasn't actually fighting lawns or parking angles. She was terrified of irrelevance after losing the structure that once defined her identity. Instead of adapting emotionally, she tried turning ordinary civilians into subordinates. Judge Judy understood it instantly. But understanding pain doesn't excuse abuse. Rebecca suddenly interrupted again, unable to stop herself emotionally now. With all due respect, Your Honor, you don't understand military command pressure. The courtroom froze instantly. Judge Judy slowly looked up. Rebecca kept going. Sometimes authority requires firmness. Judge Judy leaned forward calmly, and sometimes insecurity disguises itself as authority. The audience went completely silent. Rebecca's jaw tightened. No, Mom, you're oversimplifying military psychology. That was it. The exact moment Army Karen tried to overrule Judge Judy herself. Even the bailiff stopped moving. Rebecca had become so desperate to defend her identity that she forgot where she was. Judge Judy paused for 3 long seconds before delivering the single response that shocked the courtroom into silence. Mrs. Sloan, the United States Army trained you to serve people, not terrorize divorced fathers over bicycles and basketball hoops. The room exploded emotionally. Claire covered her mouth. Adam looked down immediately, trying unsuccessfully not to cry. Rebecca's face went completely pale. Judge Judy continued without raising her voice once. You walked into this courtroom demanding respect while showing absolutely none to the people around you. Rebecca stayed silent now, completely silent. No more command voice, no more lectures, just exposure. Judge Judy reviewed the security footage, witness testimony, repair estimates, and harassment evidence one final time before delivering judgment. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $4,200. Adam exhaled deeply, like months of emotional pressure finally left his body all at once. But Judge Judy still wasn't finished. She looked directly at Rebecca one last time. Real leaders protect peace. They don't manufacture fear just to feel important. Rebecca lowered her eyes for the first time all hearing, and, honestly, that was the real ending of the case. Not the money, not the verdict. The silence. Because for the first time in months, Rebecca Sloan no longer controlled the emotional atmosphere around her. Adam quietly gathered Lily's basketball photos and security documents before leaving the courtroom beside Claire Bennett, who gave him a soft, supportive smile near the exit. Small moment, but powerful. Because sometimes justice isn't loud. Sometimes it's just finally being able to breathe again inside your own home. If you watch this case and believe nobody should use power, status, or intimidation to control ordinary people, leave your opinion in the comments below. And subscribe for more emotional courtroom documentaries where hidden truth eventually catches up with everyone.